Jackylicious here, and today your girl is gonna help you get into college. As you can see from the title of this video, today I am going to be reading my personal statements and insight questions that got me into UC Berkeley. For those of you that don't know me, I am a third year now at UC Berkeley. So I wrote these questions like 3 years ago. I was a high schooler, so before anybody judges me, it is not my finest work. I have definitely evolved as a writer. Any haters out there that say my writing is trash, well, it got me into Berkeley. So just a disclaimer, I am not an official college counselor, so anything that I say is not guaranteed. These are my personal opinions, and I do have a lot of experience helping a lot of students. I've read over their personal statements for free. Feel free to message me on social media, so check me out. And subscribe to my channel if you want to see more college lifestyle videos and admission tips. I know college admissions is literally right around the corner, so I really wanted to make this video. And I am also going to be translating my UC statements in Spanish, so if you or someone you know is more dominant in speaking Spanish, I do want to provide more resources for students who speak and understand Spanish more, because I've seen on YouTube that there are not a lot of resources, and I can't imagine trying to navigate the college admission process coming from a Spanish speaking country. I try to do my best because I am a college student. It's really hard for me to keep up with school and YouTube, but we ain't dropping out. We're almost done getting that degree, baby. Go check out all my other college videos, day in my life, going to frat parties, all this fun stuff. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. So in this video, I'm going to be reading my personal statements to question number 1, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to be reading from my laptop and my phone in case you don't see me looking at the camera. Question number 4, I actually already made a video on it 2 years ago, so go and check that out. It'll be linked in the description. Prompt number 4 was describe how you've taken advantage of a significant educational opportunity or work to overcome an educational barrier you have faced. And that question was actually about my internship at a law firm, kind of how Legally Blonde inspired me to become a lawyer, which, by the way, we are not doing that anymore, and so it is okay to change what your major ends up being. I'm going to be reading 1, 5, and 6 in that order. The timestamps will be in the description, so you can skip ahead. I think personal statements are amazing to understand the applicant and why you aren't just a number applying to the school. I literally lived in the college counseling center. Oh my god, Mr. Abar saw me all the time, and I love Mr. Abar. I remember the first time I walked in, I was like, Mr. Abar, I need these statements to be Stanford and Berkeley material, and wow, Stanford rejected me. Yep, I was rejected. Maybe for graduate school. You know where all the Stanford rejects go, and that's UC Berkeley. So I love my school though, and I'm so happy that I'm there and so grateful. Honestly, don't be afraid to dig down deep and talk about things even if you don't think they're as important. Highlighting them and making them seem like they're important and why they're important to you is really crucial to this process. Question number 1 is describe an example of your leadership experience in which you have positively influenced others, helped resolve disputes, or contributed to group efforts over time. For this one, I think the biggest important factor is obviously choosing one leadership experience. You don't want to mention a bunch of different ones. 2, you definitely want to highlight the struggles that you faced and how you overcame them and what you learned. But most importantly, I think what they're looking for is how you can apply what you learned to other situations in your future or other aspects of your life. I chose to talk about my leadership role as conducting drum major and band. If you want to see a video of me conducting, I will link it in the description down below. It's hilarious. I look so adorable. Good times, but also rough times, which I'm going to talk about because I actually had never done marching band, and I applied to be drum major. At first it was a joke, low-key, and then I realized I actually could do it if I really wanted to. It was an amazing experience, and I kind of wish I did band for more than just 1 year. I don't know why I started this question super dramatic, but it's like super dramatic for no reason. Like, this is literally band. As I stood on my podium ready to count off, I asked myself, what was someone who has never done marching band doing conducting and leading this band? My leadership skills and passion for music had won me the position, but I had no idea what I had really gotten myself into when accepting the role as conducting drum major. From the start, the band doubted that I could lead them since they were more experienced than I was. but this only drove me to prove them wrong. Jumping into band camp last summer, I quickly learned the basics about marching, which shocked the rest of my band members and helped earn their respect. I spent countless hours practicing my conducting technique, memorizing tempos, and learning every section's music. Once our competition season started, my leadership skills were put to the test. I had practices 3 days a week after school, Friday night football games, Saturday all-day practices, and back-to-back weekend competitions. Band literally became my life. I had never been in any activity that had challenged me physically, mentally, and emotionally to my breaking point. Due to the physics of sound travel, it was difficult hearing different tempos from both the band and percussion, but I had to become confident so that they would trust and follow me. Standing up there, I was exposed and had no room for errors, or else it would mess up the whole band. It was frustrating to learn how to take criticism from my instructors and peers because every time the band was not together, I was to blame. Accepting this criticism and creating relationships with my band members helped me become a better conductor and leader. I learned how to work under pressure, communicate with the band, and inspire them by helping them find a purpose. This experience helped me learn valuable leadership skills I can use in the future. I want to be a leader in my community and help motivate and inspire those around me to exceed their potential just like I did for my band. John F. Kennedy,
Class of 2018, the marching band.
#1 in our division. As you can see in my statement, I talked about a lot of difficulties I had with myself and working together with the band. I talked about, you know, leadership skills that I learned, because obviously this is a leadership prompt, and just how that experience is going to help me in the future. And I think that's super important to hit those 3 points. And remember, leadership positions don't have to be something huge. You don't have to be the president. It doesn't even have to be leadership roles in your school. It could be in your household. It can be at your job. Moving on to question number 5, which is describe the most significant challenge you have faced and the steps you have taken to overcome this challenge. How has this challenge affected your academic achievement? I did get a little bit more personal, and I usually don't get as personal on my YouTube channel, but for the purposes of this video, I am going to share what I wrote about. By the way, trigger warning, it is about having divorced parents and going through that situation as a young kid. Typically with this question, the challenging part is, you know, it is very difficult to ask students, you know, to speak on their traumas and elaborate and just kind of relive, you know, challenging situations in their life. Once again, just be comfortable with whatever you're sharing. Don't feel like you have to share something very, very dramatic in your life. It could be a challenge you had in class or in a club. It doesn't have to be something very emotional. I feel like I really overcame this challenge. I felt like it was something I really needed to highlight. I wouldn't change any experiences, even if they are negative ones, because it made me into the strong, independent woman that I am today. If anybody out there has gone through anything similar and needs a person to hear them out or support them in any way, feel free to message me. I think the biggest tip I can give this is not focusing too much on the negative aspects, but what you learned through this challenge and how you overcame it, but most importantly, how you're gonna take what you learned into whatever you do in the future. Let's just get into it. As this year comes to an end, I reflect on who I was, who I imagined I would be, but most importantly, who I became. My father left my family, leading up to a heart-aching separation, while my older brother, my best friend and role model, moved states away for college. This isn't a sad story, but rather the story of how I went from the carefree younger sibling to the responsible leader of my family. For most of my life, I just worried about myself, since my older brother kept everything together and was the one who guided me through life, but once he left, it all fell apart. My mother was still a mess, and I was the only one who could pick up all the pieces. In addition to juggling my AP classes, concert, jazz, marching band, senior council, debate, and swim team, I had to become a role model and parent figure to my 3 younger siblings. While it was cool having a license and car, it was mainly to take the children to and from school every day. I would have to put my loads of homework aside to help my little brother who needed the extra help. Cooking and cleaning up after them made me feel like their mom, even more than my mother was. When my parents argued, I had to hold back my tears and tell my siblings everything would be okay. I went to their award ceremonies and music shows to support them, because I knew how it felt as a child when my parents never went to mine. As much as I struggled with all of this on my shoulders and giving up my free time and weekends to babysit, it made me realize everything was not about me. Before I leave for college, I knew it was my duty to teach my siblings basic values such as honesty, and that any dream is possible with hard work. Everything I do, everything I have achieved, is partly for my siblings, to inspire them to become successful and even better than I am. Stop. Cut the cameras, cut the cameras. Oh my gosh, it's been a really long time since I've read that statement. I definitely think that was my favorite personal statement that I wrote because one, I am not the type of person, I'm an Aquarius, so I'm not the type of person to talk about my feelings, let alone write them. So I was surprised that I could put it into words and talk about, you know, my experience. It made me realize how much stronger I became. My tips for this one again is just jump right into the situation, the challenge that you face. Talk about the struggles and, you know, maybe academically what you had going on. So I actually did end up failing one class in high school around the time this was all happening, and so I kind of explained how there were just so many changes and things going on that, you know, that it did affect my academics in a way. And most of all, talk about the struggles, but what you learned at the end. That's the most important part, and the person that you became and why you're so proud of being the person you are. Why what you learned will help you succeed at a university or help you succeed in your future career endeavors. On to our last UC statement. So number 6, the prompt is think about an academic subject that inspires you. Describe how you have furthered this interest inside and or outside of the classroom. So this one is super fun. You can literally write about any subject or anything, and I just read it on history. My tips for this would obviously be to focus on just one subject that inspires you and have a really cool and interesting story. A lot of times I have read people who do this statement and talk a lot about how their teacher really inspired them, and I think the really important part is to remember that this is your statement and they don't want to read about your teacher. Highlight them because they were an important figure in that, but most of all, talk about why it inspires you. What do you love most about it? Maybe have a cool story. Yeah, this one is just really up for anything, up for grabs. It can literally be about anything. I'm gonna go ahead and read my story, which is about history, by the way, which is my favorite subject. I am super passionate about history. I still am. And I think the craziest part is now when I learn about college history, I see the different narratives and all the different stories that were not even talked about in, you know, history in the high school curriculum, which blows my mind. If you think you know everything right now in high school, wait until you get into college. Like, you are going to learn a lot of things and it's just gonna open your mind up. I think the saddest part is, you know, we say we learn history so that we don't repeat ourselves, yet here we are with the same issues, the same racist people, the same everything. So it is kind of sad and disappointing. Let's go ahead and read statement number 6. I used to stare down at my tedious history textbook and ask myself, why are we learning about these dead people? And what importance could these past events possibly have on my life today? I really started my personal statement like that. Wow. You did that, Jackylicious, you did that. A little did I know that history was the basis of the society we live in today and the future of it to come. Who knew a chance trip to Washington, D.C. in the 5th grade would spark my curiosity and passion for a subject I lacked interest in. In high school, I was driven to take on AP history classes such as World, United States, and Government. When preparing for the AP US exam, I would stand up in front of my class and passionately preach about how important a war or era was in a way that students will understand and be more intrigued. This also aroused my thirst for adventure and exploration of the world. I was lucky to have the opportunity to visit Mexico, China, and multiple countries in Europe during my summers in high school. You would not believe my excitement being face to face with these enormous, breathtaking monuments that I had only seen in textbooks. To witness and walk on the Great Wall of China, Eiffel Tower, or tour the White House at such a young age was such a stunning experience. My favorite part about history is learning about the culture and traditions that grow in each place. While in China, I participated in an amazing student exchange program where I lived the life of a Chinese student at my age, which really opened my eyes to the different cultures outside of my society. Page after page, I not only learned how a country on the other side of the world could impact the society I live in, but how you could become an advocate in your own society. Historical figures have inspired me to become a legal advocate in the US and to write my own story that students might someday learn about. I'm not gonna be a legal advocate. I'm not, that last part is not up to date. Not everybody has the opportunity to travel around the world, and it doesn't have to be something huge like that. You know, I was very fortunate and grateful for those experiences and to be able to experience something like that, which is why I just wanted to talk about it, and I was able to correlate an academic subject to some real life experience. I've seen a lot of people write how they incorporate things that they learned in one of their favorite classes. You know, maybe I took a graphic design class, and you know, I started creating my own designs or for a company. Maybe, you know, you learned a lot of math skills and that helped you with your cooking passion. It could, you know, be as creative as you want it to be. And even if it's something small, if you make it a big deal, it will be a big deal. And I promise you, everything is a big deal in this application. You need to talk about everything, highlight everything, and I think that's the most important part. Have fun with this prompt. This is a very fun prompt. This is one that, you know, you'd probably talk about something that makes you stand out and shine out. Those are my 3 personal statements, and again, if you want to see the 4th one, the link is in the description down below. I hope that some of these tips were able to help. Message me with any questions you might have personally about your statements. I always love helping people. You know, I don't really charge people anything because a lot of people don't have those types of resources accessible to them. I could try to help with other prompts. I have looked into a lot of other prompts, so I do have some experience in other prompts even though I didn't write about them. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more college content from your girl Jackylicious. Thank you so much, and Jackylicious out.